how to approach the community, how they would react. I wanted first to work in a very organic way with them. Not everything needs to be like with the structure and method. There's also place to experiment and to break a little bit the rules, because it's art, it's not the school, like. So I wanted to keep like this rule for me. So it was kind of fun.
Welcome to EM CONVERSA, a podcast of the curatorial art and research collective Mais Uno Mais Um. Today's episode is part of the Play the Ground conversations, where we try to dive deeper in the experiences of the artists who took part in our 2024 summer residency program. In episode 9, we are talking with MAX PROVENZANO about the workshops he conducted this summer with the kids from the Talude neighborhood. We discuss his strategy for dealing with memories and identity, and hear some stories behind the making of the slide curtain for the Border Slide project. But before I go too far into it, it's probably best to hear from himself.
Yeah, I'm Max Provenzano. I'm a visual and performance artist from Venezuela. I have 7 years living here in Portugal. Times go fast. So, yeah, very excited to be here sharing about the project that I did for the summer residency in Talude. My project was called Border Slide. I was working with the installation made of is a curtain made of slides that we were like doing some interventions over found slides that I had an archive from Feira da Ladra, this flea market from Lisbon, and also we were building some slides that they were like capsules of memory with organic materials and discard papers. So yes, we have like these two ways to approach the slides. And I had 2 sessions with the kids of the Talude community.
Okay. Did your proposal from what you designed and applied for change when you got into the neighborhood?
No, I think that it didn't change. First of all, I had like one first visit just to get to know the neighborhood, to understand a little bit how, first of all, how to get there. Second, what was the atmosphere of the space, and also to see a little bit the dynamics of the place. Because one of the things that I was thinking, one of my concerns at the beginning, this first phase, was how to approach the community, how they would react, first of all, because I didn't work like the teacher to approach them, to like tell them what to do or how to do the things. I wanted first to work in a very organic way with them. So this was like my first visit, and I was like observing and trying to understand, also contextualizing the work that I was going to develop, and looking for the surroundings, because I was very interested for them to explore the space and see what the space could bring to them to work with the slides. So this was like my first approach, and I consider with these 2 sessions I had like a first experience with this project, because it's the first time that I do it. This is part of a bigger project that I have that is called a Slidatorium, because I want to work with this like a library of slides with different experiences with different communities, and also to be able to project them and to go back in time and reflect about memory and the stories of each of the persons that, well, the people that were involved in this experience. So I consider that I had like these 2 experiences of the workshop in these 2 3 weeks, more or less. I wanted to do more and more and more and more. I think that it's like an ongoing project that can like span with time and with different communities. So yeah, in my case, I don't consider that it changed a lot. What I wanted to do is like to go deeper with the intervention of the slides, because in the way, this is something that was very interesting that happened, checking after what happened with the intervention and with the selected slides of the archive. I found that there were like some interesting topics because most of the slides that I selected for this workshop, it was like very not being so conscious about this, but I was selecting scenes where there were like family, like these families of Portuguese families that they were like traveling and taking like these photos of travels, because in the archive of the slides, I have like a diverse topics. So I selected like these type of topics, right? Trying to create like some way, some bound with the kids, with the children, to engage a little bit. Like, okay, this is a travel, this is a family trip, and something. And I found very interesting that these children from this community from Talude, they were like doing intervention over slides of Portuguese families traveling more or less from the 80s and 90s. So I found this very interesting because it's related to the history of Talude on this community that is a migrant community that is also um, living in this space and also is living in the suburbs of Lisbon. So I think that this was something that I explored on developing the project, and it's something that I wasn't considering at the beginning. So it's very interesting, this question, because I think that this is one found object in this process, and I think that it brings another layer, another level for the results that I got on this.
Of course. So, still going back a bit to your beginning in Talude. So, when you first arrived, you said you had like a kind of walk around, or you met some people probably. So, how was your first first day there, your first time there?
Well, I was feeling that my first impression, it was like it was going to be like a bit challenging, because as I was telling you, one of my concerns was how to approach the community. Also, I was trying to think a little bit outside of the box in somehow, and also, like to unlearn in somehow what I was bringing to them. I had cleared the objectives and what I wanted to do with the slides and the workshop that is called Faça tua própria slide, but I didn't want to impose myself with the children of the community. So this was like my first concern about how, because I had clear the way of what I wanted to achieve, who the people that I was going to approach, but the idea of how, not sounding like very like, okay, I'm coming here from another location, telling you, I was trying to find strategies to engage them in an horizontal way, because I'm also an immigrant in this city. So I think that I was thinking about in this strategy when I was the first time there, that I can use this as a way to approach to them. And also, even with my level of Portuguese, that is Portuñol, I was telling them in the first session of the workshop, in somehow for them to guide me with the language. Okay, so I was learning from them. So I think that this was something very curious that was happening there in a very organic way, and I think that it was pretty useful to engage with them in a first approach, and like a little bit like dismantle this figure that I'm the artist, I'm coming with these objectives, I want to do this workshop, because I know that part of my project was like very focused on the slides and to fill the curtain with them. So I think that it was like trying like remove these layers a little bit, because I know that it has like a method very, very clear. So I wanted to engage more. Um, yeah, I think that that was
Yeah, that
the
was
question. Okay, okay.
That's good. So, what I'm curious. I was not in your workshops, unfortunately, but maybe you can tell me a bit more how the setting was, how you, what the task for the kids was, and how you.
Yeah, first of all, I brought a globe that I was putting this globe, like, like this, it's like a lamp globe of the, and I was telling them, first of all, introduce each of us. I also had like one of my friend, and she was also there, Lorena Tavares, that she's Colombian, she's curator. She was joining me also in the first session, and we were like introducing ourselves and pointing in the map where we come from. And this was like the first session, a little bit to break the ice and get to know each other and talk a little bit about ourselves. I was like giving like this round with them. I was trying to work mainly on this circular way to, like try to talk to them in this sense. But I know that sometimes we with the children, when is there this figure of the workshop, and we are in a workshop and we are doing like these steps to follow this intervention over photographies or slide photographies. So I know that sometimes I had to, like use these ways to try to drive the workshop in the direction that I wanted. But first of all, it was like getting to know each other, also being very respectful for them, because if you don't want to talk, you you don't you won't talk, okay? Because I respect each point of view in the session, being very like transparent and open with them. Um, and then we, first of all, I think that it was important to start with the memory capsules. Okay, so with this, let's explore the space, let's go outside, let's find objects. And I was telling them to think about the story, because I think that is the third phase of the session, was to do the projection and talk about what we see with the projected slides, even if they are like with organic objects, or if they were drawings over the photography slides, archival slides that I was bringing to them. So this was like the main structure of the session. First of all, they went outside. They were collecting like leaves and papers and things that they were finding on the environment. And also, it was very important for them to think in objects and materials that they will go inside the slide or the capsule. Okay, so in some cases they were bringing things that they didn't fit. So it was also interesting for them to explore these dimensions of the work, because I think that in other workshops or experiences with the kids, they have like more freedom in the sense of they can draw or do like big drawings or painting. In this, we have the restriction of the slide, because it's very interesting. Now I'm talking about the scale, because first of all, we work in a very small scale, and we end the workshop with the expansion of this scale, and we see, like the projection there, we all together. So it's like it's a journey with them. So I think that it was very interesting to have it.
Did you project the slides in the end?
Yeah. In both sessions, what we did was we found materials. We did the capsules. Then the second step was, once we have like this slide that we built, now we have another way to create like slides for our curtain of memory. That this was with the archival slides that I was like just giving them all the options that they had, and also with pencils or pen they could do like some drawings over these photography slides. There was like another phase of the story that they could like build the story, and the first story was more related to the exploration of the environment and how did I found this, and the other was like more a joke because it was like drawing. It was based more on intervention of these slides, so we can see the differences. And also when we had the projections, that this was like the funny part, there were like some surprises because when I do one capsule, I'm thinking that this is going to look like the same way that I'm building it, but when I slide through it, it may change. So they were just like, "Oh, who did this?" And we were like asking, "Who did this?" You. So it was like very funny because it turned like a bit like like a game for them. So I think that it was pretty interesting because also for them to explore these materials, it was like kind of new, and there was like okay, what is this? This is a photography lab, or is this I don't know, is a session for drawing, or what? Where are you bringing me? So it was very interesting for them because I got this feeling from their side that they were like at some point like, what are we going to do? How this is going to end? So I think that they enjoyed the journey.
So they saw the results only at the
Of course.
at the end.
Yeah.
That's also very interesting.
Yeah.
How did they? Because you said you had like slides or photographs of families for traveling.
Yeah.
Did they pick them, or what did did the kids?
They picked them. They were like drawing over these scenes of people traveling. Like, I don't know. In some of them, they were like drawing over the people. In others, they were doing like some drawing surrounding. So it was very interesting because they were like exploring this and seeing like them projected. And the interesting thing of this is like with the projection, they can even be inside the projection. So it was pretty interesting, this part of the session. The second session was, of course, we did like these two exercises. Like it was like more fast in some way because they already knew what they were going to do. It was just like, okay, we know already the procedure of what we did in the first session. So it was like more based on, I gave them like this challenge that it was like, okay, we need to fill this curtain. Okay, so it was like the complete curtain with all the slides in one table. And of course, do the timing. We couldn't finish like intervention or construction of each of the slides. But at the end, like the objective was to fill the slide with certain order that it was like kind of random. So we closed the second session with this exercise, and then we projected. And what I did after all of this was to keep the order as they build the curtain, and I scanned each of the slides and I published this in a website that you can see online, all the results. Also, I have like some documentation about the workshop. I'm editing a video that I will publish soon on the website. Yeah.
This is an ongoing project. You decided to intervene in the residency because you said it was like an archive that you're doing.
Yes, I think that border slides, I can, like do like another experience of this project in another location to try to gather like some results with another community, see like some differences on this, and keep scanning the slides. And like the website is like a blog that is like an ongoing process. And then the big project that involves this process is the Slidatorium, that is like this library of slides from different sources. Like this way, then it's like a curation of this archive. So I'm trying to mix like the slides that I'm building on one side with this organic and papers and found materials. And the other side is these slides that are found on these flea markets here in Lisbon or in other countries. because there are like some forgotten photos or things that people just like release them in somehow, and we can find like some interesting topics that they can cross with others, and we can build like a narrative based on this. So it's a way like to keep the memory in somehow, because I think that this is related to memory, identity, and how we can build an archive that is migrating from um, analog photography to digital at the same time. So I think that yes, this is based on these journeys. Another thing is that I think that we will have like the exhibition for this project. So I think that that's for Talude community. I think that that's like the final like step, because I think that if they are able to go to the exhibition, to see the curtain, to see the documentation, to be able to visit the website also, I think that it will be like the final phase for them to visit like the results like in another platform, like it's like another territory that is there. I feel in somehow that they will get to feel I identify with this, because they are part of this. They build the curtain. So this was one of the objectives that I had with this experience.
How long did you stay in the neighborhood?
I did like these 2 sessions. I had like 4 visits there, but I remember that I was for 1 month with the residency, but I asked it to extend it a little bit more. I think that it was 1 month and a half or almost 2 months. Yeah.
And how did you feel your connection with the whole of the community? Like, because it was your first time in Talude, probably,
Yeah.
right? So, for most of us who live in Lisbon, it's not a place where we would go, not even cross, because it's like the end of this cliff. So you don't have to go there. You don't pass through there. You only go there when you have a purpose to go there. So I was wondering how you felt, or how you discovered the territory in itself.
Yeah, this is very interesting, because at some point when I was there, I have like some flashes in from my country, because I also did works with the community in Caracas, Venezuela. So I was feeling like yes, I know that is a place that if you live in Lisbon and if you move like in certain ways inside the city, maybe you won't get there to like visit or explore. It was art who brought me there, which was very interesting. But at the same time, I was feeling a bit moved, because I was like feeling connected even with places of Caracas that I visit, working with the community and also with children more or less of the same age. So yes, I was having like these flashes, and I was just like with this feeling of okay, there are common spaces that sometimes you don't relate them directly, but if you're there living the space and sharing with the people, you feel in somehow this connection if you have like this background. And in my case, it happened
Yeah.
being there.
Okay, so what happened after your residency? I would like to know more, because your project goes on, and now what is kind of your plan with the project?
Next steps, yes, I think that I would like to do it here in Lisbon, Portugal, in another space community. The format I want to keep the same, because I think that what is interesting with this project is the method that I'm doing or following, and then get to like span this curtain with another modules of the experience. So yes, I want to keep going. So the next step for this project is to keep like this practice with a different community, maybe a different location here, and also to go deeper exploring the archive, because to be honest, the archive is very big, because I've been collecting slides since I arrived here. There are like some parts of the archive that I haven't explored yet. Okay, so it's like keep exploring and going deeper and deeper, because for example, what I found with these family photos of traveling and vacations and all this stuff, I think that I can find even more things going deeper on this archive and different things, and explore also the topics when I do the sessions of the workshop of Fasa to appropriate slides. So I think that I can find new things, and also for the audience or the community that they're participating, they can also find things there. Yeah.
Do you have a question? Go.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I have a totally other question now. I was just thinking about if you have like some, I don't know, some encounter with the kids or some moment that you remember out of the residency that really like, I don't know, is like sticks to your head, or you have like some story.
Yeah, talking about memory, yes, I remember one of the slides that they did, that they were, the kid didn't want to talk about specifically, okay, I did this for this, but his result was very like, okay, moving, because he did like we have like papers from that they found in the surroundings, and he did one of the slides, and I remember like 3 colors, and the 3 colors, it was the colors of the flag of my country, like, so I felt like very, okay, this is very random, I know that these are primary colors, but at the same time I was just like finding their connections in my head. Another thing that I remember, at some point of the second session, there was one point that I was trying to be like as organic as possible. There was one point that I lost the control of the group, okay? So it was like kind of fun right now, but at the moment I was just like, okay, how do I approach this? And one of the things was to focus in this common objective to fill the curtain with the slides that we had done. And it was good to get them back on focus, because there was like a lot of distraction in the second session, and there was one point of chaos, but I think that it was interesting and also necessary for them to like release a little bit, like this way to, okay, I'm working with these materials elements, but maybe they were seeing the camera and they were just like dancing in front of the camera, and I think that it was fun. Okay, I didn't want to interrupt that moment, so this is also something that I was like, I want to keep to myself, because not everything needs to be like with the structure and method. There's also place to experiment and to break a little bit the rules, because it's art, it's not the school, like. So I wanted to keep like this rule for me, so it was kind of fun, and I think that they had fun also.
Yeah, I think it relates a lot with the topic of the residency, with informality and
Yeah.
formality.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that it's something to keep in mind when we're doing this type of residencies and experience. That also taking in consideration that is informality as a way of creating, and it's there. We don't need to force the things.
Yeah, embracing it and
Yeah.
taking advantage of it also sometimes.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, it.
The camera.
Oh, that's it. Did it finish battery?
No, I think it just stops always after a certain time. I don't know,
yes,
maybe
it's
the
normal.
settings.
It's
Yeah,
normal.
maybe it's like, I don't know, half an hour or something probably.
Yeah, half an hour probably. But I think it's good. I think.
Yeah.
To me, it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.